So this video is going to be talking about whether or not you should be focusing on the Spanish from Latin America or the Spain Spanish. I actually get this question a lot, and I feel like people stress over this way more than they should. So hopefully this video will help you feel better about it, clarify a lot of things. The biggest differences in, I guess, the language of Spanish come from either Spain or other parts of the world, pretty much any other country. Every country is going to have slightly different words, slightly different accents, and whatnot. I would say that the biggest differentiators of Spanish come from Argentina, Spain, and other countries in Latin America. But at the end of the day, it's still just Spanish. My Spanish is Latin American Spanish, and I've lived in Spain for a period of time, and I've traveled there on multiple different occasions as well. I use my Spanish, they use their Spanish, they understand me, I understand them. It's no big deal. It doesn't matter if your Spanish is Latin American Spanish, you're still going to be able to go to Spain and be fine, and vice versa. If you learn the Spain Spanish and your accent is Spanish, the words you use are the words they use in Spain, etc., and you go to Latin America, you're going to be just fine. You'll still be able to communicate. It's a lot like comparing the Spanish between the United States and Australia or England or Scotland, for example. Yes, there's different accents, different words, and different dialects, but still English at the end of the day. So I want you to have that same mentality when it comes to the Spanish between Spain and Latin America. But getting back to the purpose of this video, which is about which one should you learn, it really is on a case-by-case basis. If you have plans on traveling, let's say, to Spain or studying abroad there, living there, or you just love the culture from Spain, or maybe all of your friends that you talk to are Spanish, then I would learn, obviously, the Spanish from Spain. Or vice versa, if all of the people in your friend group that you practice your Spanish with are from Colombia or Venezuela or Mexico or wherever from Latin America or just from the country that's not Spain, then I wouldn't care much about the Spanish from Spain necessarily, or at least I wouldn't put a huge focus on it. Again, the main difference is honestly the accent, some of the vocabulary words, like instead of saying carro, you would say coche, and it's the use of vosotros in Spain, which honestly, if you're not super interested in the Spanish from Spain, you can do what I did, which was know that there is a verb conjugation for vosotros, which is basically how you say you all in Spain, and don't even really learn it. I know how to use it. I can use it perfectly now, but honestly, learn the other verb conjugations first for the other subjects, for yo, tú, él, ella, ellos, etc. And then at the end, when you feel comfortable with all of the different verb conjugations and tenses, you can go really quickly and just pick up the vosotros conjugation, and it's going to be easier because that way you have less to learn in the beginning. You already have enough to learn as it is when you're learning Spanish. Don't throw on vosotros if you don't have to. You can always learn it later on, and it'll be easier to learn later on if you're already comfortable with the language. So unless you're planning on going to Spain, unless you're planning on a trip there or whatever, I just would ignore it for now. I wouldn't even worry about it. They don't use that in any other part of the world except for Spain, so don't learn it unless you're going to Spain. I still think it's cool to know. I would sometimes brush up on it if I were talking to someone from Spain, and I could still understand it because you can still understand the first part of the verb and then figure out, they're probably talking about vosotros, and it can be not that big of a deal. But I always teach that you need to learn the Spanish that's most useful to you. If all of your friends are from Mexico, then learn how they talk in Mexico. Learn the different vocabulary words they use. If all of your friends are from Spain, then focus on that. At the end of the day, though, don't stress a lot about it because it's not that big of a deal. It really isn't. It's like if you had a Spanish speaker come up to you and ask, hey, should I learn the English from England or United States? You'd probably say it's the same thing. It's like, I don't know, what shows do you watch? Are all the shows you watch British shows or are they American shows? Are the people you talk to from England or from America? I mean, it's really not that big of a deal. It's not likely that they're going to be sounding like a British speaker or sounding like an American anytime soon anyway, so you would probably tell them just to not worry about the differences that much and just learn the words that you stumble across. Also, the verbs are the most important part of learning Spanish, not even the vocabulary words. You need to learn the verbs first. You need to learn how to talk in the past, the present, the future. And the verbs are very universal across the different countries. Yes, you'll have some instances where, one country might use a different verb than another country and vice versa, but you'll really see the biggest differences with vocabulary words, and those are just things that you're going to pick up having conversations with people and listening to how people talk in that specific country. But if you can learn the verbs, you'll be able to communicate with anyone in any part of the world easily. That's also why I put together a free training to show you how I was able to accelerate my Spanish learning and become fluent within a year. This training will teach you how you can be having real conversations with someone from any country, any Spanish-speaking country, just a few months from now. It's 100% free. All you've got to do is click on the link that I'll put in the description below so that you can sign up for this free training and learn more about the methodology that I use to learn Spanish quicker. It's not a shortcut. It's not to say that it's going to be super easy, but it will show you what you do need to be focusing on versus what you do not need to be focusing on if you really want to be having conversations in Spanish in as short amount of time as possible. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it cleared up some doubts that you may have been having as to whether or not you should be learning Spain Spanish or Latin American Spanish. Again, if you're not subscribed already, please subscribe. Let me know in the comments what type of video you'd like to see in the future, and hopefully I can help you with your Spanish learning journey from here on out. See you in the next video. Ciao.